Okay.
Awesome.
I'm,
Vincent, that's the way you do it, man. You got to put yourself in those positions. That's where you're able to actually move yourself forward. Now, it's a small little cost, but you're talking about maybe a $1,200 a year cost to have access to $170,000. That's going to allow you to go and move in a big way. It's going to allow you to cash flow. You could buy a building that's $500,000, right? $500,000 building that's pulling in maybe $6,000 a month in rents, where you're cash flowing maybe $1,500 every month. That's going to be valuable, right? With that investment, you can get into something bigger.
exactly. That's my planning. Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Awesome job, Vincent.
I'm actually doing some yard work, so I'll have my camera off and I have the earbuds in. So
You got it, brother. We know you're there.
okay.
Excellent. So I'm going to take this live now. And 3. Oh, we're already live. I'm going to hit the record button. Welcome back to Be the Bank. This is for passive investing, using the money you already have and putting it to work for you. I know for a lot of the people who are listening right now, the biggest pain point they have is the same one I have. What do I do with all of this cash? It seems like the deals are tight and it doesn't really work financially for you in cash flow. Now, we could flip real estate, but that's a lot of work. Ask me how I know. I know we still flip. Our company has flips in Fall River we're doing right now. We're looking to pick some up here in Tampa, but the flips are work. It's not going to retire you money. Whereas investing passively is more about putting your money to work for you so that you don't have to go back to work. Darina is on the call. Darina is also a passive investor. In fact, she's invested in South Coast. She's invested in other people's flips. She's invested in real estate, still holds her own deals, and she's still actively building her own side business. Darina runs events. So it's a model that has worked really well for her to create passive income. She's also a crypto investor and is earning money off of her yield farms. So she's really gotten addicted to this passive income. So she and I have this conversation all the time. Where do I put my money so that I can make more? Go ahead, Darina. You want to say something?
Well, every time we say crypto, I'm like, what's going on now? It triggers to go check how much I have right now, but it's down, which is a good time to buy.
So Darina, do you know how much you earn per day with your crypto?
I earn $140 a day at
$140
a very low price point right now, because we can see that what we hold can double or triple in the next year.
So that's about $4,000 a month.
It's about $50,000 a year.
$50,000 a year. Yes.
Yes.
So that's been a great investment for you. You put the money out there, you just compound it. You've got it stacking up. You actually compound twice a day.
Yeah. When I wake up, when I go to bed.
So that's been a great passive investment. Some of the issues with crypto is it creates there's a lot of volatility in the marketplace. Fortunately, at the prices you've bought at, they can't go much lower. I mean, they could. There's always the chance, right? Crypto could just disappear tomorrow. But at the price you bought at, if they go up, you have a capital gain. And if they just cash flow the way they're cash flowing, you've got some profits. Now, crypto is one of those assets that I don't suggest putting a ton of money into, right? 10% of your net worth is probably a reasonable amount to have in a crypto, that speculative money, that 10% gambling money. And that's what you've done, Darina. How much do you have totally invested in crypto right now?
Totally invested in cryptos. It's roughly 52,000.
52,000, which you get 100% return on. It sounds like every year you get about 50,000 back.
Yes.
Excellent.
But it fluctuates. Like if you often talk about net worth tracker. So if I'm as dedicated as you and I go there daily, it will go up and down, up and down, up and down. So sometimes I see it's making me 40 grand a year. Sometimes I see it's making me 200,000. So it's just like, it's a roller coaster. Just got to get used to it. It's not stable platform like real estate. It's very volatile and it's going to show you different number every day.
I like that. And that is essentially the point I was getting at. So crypto and the yield farming it's a great asset to hold. It's something that you and I both hold and a lot of our friends hold, but it's not that money that you could guarantee is going to happen for, we'll say 2 years from now. For this year, I think it's a great way for us to store some of our cash, and it's been bringing cash back. But there is a whole education around crypto and yield farming that passive investors really have to do their due diligence on, do the research on. If you want to learn more about crypto and yield farming, I would say go to Scaredy Cat Guide, talk to Mitch Jorsky. He is the king of crypto. We call him the crypto cat. Damien, welcome to the game, man. I see you, brother.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Another day in paradise. So Be the Bank is about passive investing. We just talked a little bit about crypto because that's what Darina's got herself into right now. She's actually in a bunch of different aspects. So there's six top questions for lending, and I want to review those today. The first being, how much money do you need? And this is a common question for anybody who's getting into lending. You don't actually need to have your own money to lend. It is suggested, and that's where I started. I started with having my own cash to go and lend. But as far as having a dollar amount, it doesn't really matter. You could use somebody else's money that you're lending out. So if you're borrowing money from a friend who's at 5% and you're lending out at 8%, you're making a 3% spread. Or if you're a real estate investor, you're borrowing from a friend at 5%, you're getting 12% with 2 points. There's a much more significant spread there. The dollar amount I'd say start with is maybe $1,000, right? Find that friend who will give you $1,200 if you lend $1,000 to them. Start small. Start with those small amounts. It doesn't really matter what you have. My first loan was $200. Actually, my first loan was $2,000 to my parents, and I was getting 5% interest on that. And I thought that was fantastic at the age of 16 years old. Hands to the camera if you think 5% is great at 16. I thought it was good. It was the only vehicle I had. But there are 7 streams of income, 7 ways for you to earn. And interest is one of them. Interest is only one of the 7. The other 7 are active income, which everybody's familiar with. There's rental income, which we talk a lot about on our Wednesday calls. There's capital gains, which we also talk about maybe on the Monday calls. We talk about flipping real estate. There's royalties, which as an author of a book and as somebody who owns intellectual property, that's another stream of income. You have dividends, which come from stocks like real estate investment trusts or utility companies, gas companies. And then you have, what am I missing? Profits from a business. A business profits differently than active income. So if you own your own business and you're receiving money from your active work, that's not profit. That's income. If you're receiving profit from other people's work, that over the top, that's profit. That's a whole different way of handling the taxes on it. So there's 7. Which one did I miss? Interest, profits, capital gains, dividends. Yeah, no, I nailed them all. So which avenue you're going to go passively in will really depend on how much money you have. Like there is a kind of a threshold to start with. I think everybody who's starting with $1,000, the best investment to get passively is small micro loans where you can get 25% return, 50% return. I know people who've lent $1,000 and gotten $1,500 back because the person just didn't have the money. Hence the camera, if you know, those smaller dollar amounts have more risk on them. They truly do. But they can have bigger rewards. So dollar amount, just have something saved. What does your credit profile look like? So that is not so much a factor for you as the lender as it is the person you're borrowing, you're lending to. Their credit factor is important, but you as a lender do not have to have good credit. Your credit score is not going to come into factor. Hence, if you recognize they're not checking your credit, you're checking their credit. Yes. How will you use the money? So how the person uses the money is you have to have understanding. You have to have some knowledge, right? For all of us in this call, I'm pretty sure we're real estate investors. Hands to the camera if you're a real estate investor. So they're going to use the money in real estate. In that case, the loans tend to be a little bit bigger. So that first question changes a little bit. The loans tend to be a little bigger. The lowest I've ever seen somebody lend on real estate is $10,000. And I don't see it too often, but I've seen that a number of times, that $10,000 mark, that $15,000 mark. Those are generally for renovations. That's typically somebody's in a project and now you're just lending for renovations to finish the project up. So that's kind of, what does the money get used for will depend on how much you're having and what stage of the investment you're in. If it's the down payment, which is another common one for smaller lenders, is to be second position for the down payment on a property. That could be anywhere between that $20,000 to $100,000 range, depending on what the property is. It could be it could go as high as $1 million, $2 million. Doesn't really matter. It depends on the size of the investor you're working with. Typically at those higher dollar amounts, you're either going to be an equity partner or you're going to be a low interest partner. For some reason, the more money somebody borrows, the more sophisticated the deal is, the less interest they're willing to pay. And the smaller the deal is, the smaller, the less sophisticated the investor, the more interest they're willing to pay. So what they're using it for will have a lot to do with what you're getting paid. Does that make sense? The use of the money dictates how much you're getting paid. How will the loan be repaid? This is one of the top questions to ask anytime you go into a deal. Am I getting the money back directly from the sale of the property? Am I getting it back in equity? Am I getting it back in rents? Am I getting it back in perhaps piece of the equity, piece of the property? Or are they going to pay me interest monthly? And then at the end of a sale or a refinance, 2 exit strategies, minimum 2 exit strategies on everything. We want to make sure that we're getting our money back. It's really, really important to us. That's why we gave the money in the first place, was not just to be a nice person. We're not doing this as family friends to build relationships, although we do a lot of times lend to build a relationship. We also want a return on investment, because that's how the best relationships are built, when your friends pay you. We like them more. I see Kim Harvey's wearing the Mission to Millions shirt. Let's give her a round of applause. I was rocking that shirt yesterday, Kim. I love it. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, awesome. I've missed you guys all week. We've been on vacation. So tomorrow we go home and I'm excited to get back into routine. Actually, Mike Strong just left.
Oh, nice. Where are you on vacation?
Up in Plum Island, up in Newburyport.
Kim,
Very
can I say
nice.
congratulations to what I just read in the chat?
Yes, we got engaged last night.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kim. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank
Kim, is
you.
it gonna be forever? Kurt was forever Valentine. Now it's
Now
forever.
it's really my forever Valentine.
That was a fiance.
Now
Beyonce.
forever. Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, next question is, does your business have the ability to make payments required under the loan? That is, man, it's right there with how you're getting paid back. Check and verify their other businesses. Check and verify what other loans, what other deals they've got going on. If they don't have cash flow, then this could be a very dangerous investor to work with. If they don't have, and a lot of investors who just start out are working a 9 to 5. It's not uncommon for an investor to hold a job and be flipping their first property or the second or third property. Many real estate investors actually hold their 9 to 5 for a standard of 2 to 3 years before they quit. That's actually industry standard. A lot of people are not like I just quit my job and I started into this, but most people don't. Most people do their first flip, 1 or 2 flips a year. Hands to cam, if you've seen that, you know those people who they're still working their job, but they're doing a flip here and there. That's actually a pretty standard process. So make sure that you double check their employment, double check what their income is. This is in the case where you're getting interest payments. When you're getting monthly interest payments, you want to make sure that they still have cash flow. They're in a good situation. And can you put up any collateral? This is a question to always get a yes from. We don't lend without collateral. There's no situation where that is acceptable as a business, right? The bank won't lend without collateral. If it could be a car, it could be a piece of real estate, it could be a piece of jewelry, but the bank will not lend to you unless there's something they could take back. Hands to cam, if you recognize the bank's got rules for a reason. And we want to be the bank. We don't want to try to reinvent the bank. They've done this for a long time. It's made a lot of sense. So these are just fundamentals. I wanted to make this call a really basic version of what we do here, because if we don't go back to the basics, we're gonna get too lost in the complexities of how to evaluate a deal, how to write up your contract, and it's really important just to get back to the basics so that new investors coming in have it. I want to open it up to questions on lending, on being the bank, on or an opportunity or a tip that anybody on the call would like to suggest, because I know each one of you on the call actually has experience lending. So we'll open up the mics. Go ahead, Damien. I know you always got something. And then Kim, I saw you. All right. Ladies first. I'm messing with you, Damien. Sorry. Ladies
right.
first. Go ahead, Kim.
I mean, I don't know if I really have any tips or questions, but I might actually have a opportunity to be the bank for not only some single family homes in the boondocks, Poconos, Pennsylvania, but some trailers, right? Not a trailer park, but the individual trailers. So which is a little bit different, for me. So, there's no mortgage statement. So I asked around to some people, and some people that have lent money on real estate. Some of them have actually lent money on mobile home parks. On the individual mobile homes. But they were telling me that they take the car's title as collateral on there. And it's basically the same thing as doing private lending for a real estate, except for the mortgage statement, except for the mortgage paperwork that gets recorded at the registry of deeds, right? It's everything minus that. So that's going to be something exciting. And when you talk about the small loans, this person got under contract 10 individual mobile homes for $150,000, and she's having trouble financing it, right? Because banks won't finance mobile homes usually, and even the investors, kind of the investor financings, the hard money lenders, private money lenders don't really finance mobile homes, and they don't finance loans for that small. So this is like kind of a unique situation for myself and some of my friends and some of my inner circle, where I'm like pulling them in to help, not only help my friend, but to help, to kind of help me too, and be like, hey, like I have some people I can bounce ideas off of. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. And like, as like I do the loan origination for a Better Funding. And she originally reached out to me in that respect. It was like, hey, can you do, like a long-term 40-year, 30-year loan on a bunch of properties that I had under contract. So that's pretty interesting. So excited to see what happens with that. So I guess that's all I have to say for now.
Yeah, I like that. So there's a couple of things there. One is that is just like lending on a car, right? There's a side of it. It's just like lending on a car. You use a title instead of a deed. And yet at the same time, it's not quite a depreciating asset like a car. Like a mobile home will probably retain its value much longer than a car. Maybe not the 27 and a half years, and it's not going to have that depreciation factor like a house does. But at the end of 10 years of somebody living in it, it's probably holding the same amount of value that it did previously. I mean, you're buying these things at $15,000 a piece. It's hard to go less than that.
Yep.
And does this deal come with the land? Obviously, it's separate from the land, but where are the houses right now? Can we call them
somebody
houses?
owns, somebody owns a mobile home park, and the individual mobile homes are sitting in someone else's park, and they're already hooked in. They're actually already with tenants in them. So the tenants come with the deal as well.
Excellent. So the tenants come with the deal.
Supposedly they're all paying. So they say.
So all this really is a mobile home deal where the land is. Okay, Doreen, you got her? Nice. Awesome. Sorry, Shakira, we just gotta mute your mic for a little bit. So you've got the land you're gonna be renting, and you don't have to worry about moving these things. They're perfectly fine with them staying in place.
Yep.
Oh, perfect. So this is a great opportunity for an investor to get into. Now, the loan side of it, you're right. This is a great avenue to be in because it creates a lot of opportunity. Hard money is not lending on it. Traditional financing is not going to lend on it. Yep. And so this is a cash position. This is usually a cash deal. What interest rate are you offering the investor? Because at this price, even if the rents are $700 a month, there's still going to be massive cash flow here.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking around 12%,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. I'm still, working that out and figuring that out. So
And you're the lender, or are you
one of the
part of
yeah.
the buyer?
No, I'm one of the lenders, and I'm trying to get other lenders to come in. I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook, and I'm actually was trying to attract some of my friends from that I grew up with here in Boston. That always ask me, they're like, Damien, how's that real estate investing, going? And they're scared to make the move because they know the Boston prices, and to invest in Boston, it's you're in the millions. You're going from like 500,000 to $1 million, and then if you want to do a buy and hold, it's really tough to get anything cash flowing here in Boston right now. So like I thought I would test the waters with a little Facebook post. It's like, hey, any of my friends that want to get into real estate for small money, here's your chance. Ping me directly, because I guess you really are not supposed to just come out and ask for money right on Facebook like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's a rule of the SEC. So I've gotten in trouble with it a couple of times. Fortunately, the SEC has never come knocking on my door. But when you're marketing for money, it's one of those things of saying, hey, who's interested in getting in a deal, and then jump them on a call, right? Who's interested in learning more about a deal and get on a call when we go out and we say, hey, I've got a deal, who'd like to get 12% interest? That's in the lines of, okay, that's a no-go, not the right way to do it. But if you're not working on any deals and you haven't taken any money, there's no trouble. You'll never run into a problem with that. It's only like once you have a company out there that's doing it, then the SEC could say, hey, that company did this. That's where you'd run into liability. So you'll see a lot of people get away with it because they're not at a point where there's anything that could be taken. So I think you're fine. You're not going to you're not going to get in any trouble for that one. But going forward, the easiest way to find out if somebody's interested in lending on a deal is say, hey, are you interested in real estate? Would you be interested in investing in real estate passively? And then let's jump on a call. And then in that one-on-one conversation, you can let them know about the deal, what you're doing, what you're working on. But I love that you're testing the market and you got the right idea. You're servicing people who can't get into deals that cash flow in their market, right? Boston, LA, California in general, Washington, like these markets are so hot, so tight. They don't cash flow. They appreciate. There's still some opportunities, like in any market, you can find opportunities, but you really have to be hunting. And for a normal person, like not a sophisticated investor, doesn't have a big team, it's going to be easier to work through somebody like you who's found a deal and just be able to make that money, especially if it's 12% interest. Say they give you 100,000 or 150,000, that's $1,500 a month that they're making that they wouldn't have made otherwise. And the money's just been sitting there in the bank doing nothing. Shit, like bring it on. Like that's a good investment for them. And if you get, points for setting that up, awesome. Like you've done God's work. Right? You helped somebody buy property that's renting out to other people. They're living there. They're having safe housing. The seller's happy now because they got cash in their pocket that they were looking for. They were too much. They have equity high and cash poor, so cleaned it up. And the new owner has now got something that they can cash flow and work on and create some prosperity for themselves and their family. So that's a win-win sort of scenario. Even if it was 8% interest, good luck finding 8%, right? Where are they going to find that? So, Damien, cool model, man. I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
That mobile home park concept, I think small micro housing over the next few years is going to pick up more and more.
Yeah.
Creating affordable housing. Doreen and I talk about it all the time. How do we create in this market, right? It's such a competitive market. And now I'm veering off of lending, but it's such a competitive market. How do you create? It goes back to development or housing that's a little more unique. How do we create housing more affordably so that we can put it out there on the market where people can live and have clean, safe housing? And mobile homes are filling that gap pretty quickly. Not fast enough, but quickly.
A lot of it is zoning laws as well too. I have a couple friends that picked up a mobile home park in Tennessee, and there's no zoning laws really out there. So they actually, I don't remember the exact number of acreage, but I think it's like they have 15 slabs, and they only have like 9 filled, and they have all this other acreage in back of it. They could do almost whatever they want with it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they build on it. One of them's a contractor, and one of them's a money guy. Actually, they bought it together, and they're for Pennsylvania, and they're going back and forth to it.
That's the good combination. Hey, Damien, since I got you on the call, what do you know about Chester, Pennsylvania?
Chester's not a great area. So Chester is kind of like a Holyoke. You ever been to Holyoke?
I've been to Holyoke. It's a ghost town.
But it's worse than Holyoke.
No.
Yeah, it's worse than Holyoke. It's like Camden, Flint, Michigan, like in that realm.
Blows my mind, right?
Yeah.
I looked at the prices online. I was on a call with Fred Posimo and Jason Centeno, and they were talking about Chester. And I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like 10,000 for a house, 15,000 for a house.
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't care if it's in a war zone. I'll tear that thing apart and sell the lumber.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I mean, you know, the crazy thing is, like, so some of those places down there, they'll cash flow like crazy, but try getting a contractor in there, right? Even one of the places that I have in Philadelphia, I had called Roto-Rooter, right, for a leak. And, you know, these are the guys that come out 24 hours. They couldn't go out there for 2 days because they couldn't find parking, and they didn't want to leave their van too far away from the building because they didn't want to get robbed. So I've had some issues getting contractors out into places like that. But those places, they cash flow like crazy, though.
They do.
And, you know, that's kind of the reason why is a lot of investors won't go in there, you know.
I like it. I say we all buy up Chester. We'll just go over there. We'll buy up, 200-300 houses in a block, clean that block up.
Yep. Go block by block.
Or go block by block. Yeah, it's nuts. There's still deals out there, but you gotta be tougher. Yeah, like Springfield still has money. Like there's still deals to be made in Springfield. Still, you got Holyoke, right? I mean, I think the prices in Holyoke though are getting crazy, right? I've been looking at the price in Holyoke and Springfield and how much they're getting for rent. Just it's not connected yet. Yeah, it's very, very disconnected. Like the houses that we used to be able to buy for 60,000 out there are now going for 150, 200,000. So it seems cheap, but when you look at the rents that are $400, $500, it's way out of whack. Very cool. Thanks, man.
Sure.
Let's give Damien a round of applause. Good feedback.
Thanks.
And a cool project. Kim Harvey, you're up.
Happy Friday. So I know I've been I'm never on vacation, as you all know, but I've been on a working vacation doing real estate up here in 4 towns. And one thing as a sophisticated investor that I think you really need to be pervy on, especially up in areas like this, where this is considered an island and you've got the ocean, a basin, bayside, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've learned is I've been riding my bike, my fat bike around here with my business cards and a pen and paper, actually my Mission to Millions notebook in my little basket on the front of my bike. And just writing down names, numbers and streets and stuff. But you have to make sure as an investor, if you're investing in these properties as a PML or whatever the situation is, you look into flood zones, betterments, who's responsible for beach accesses, easements, et cetera, before you put your name on any paperwork, because things change really quickly around here with avulsion, and they're saying Plum Island's gonna like wash off the face of the earth pretty soon with avulsion and yada yada. So you just have to kind of just make sure that you know your lay of the land. And as an investor, before you put any money into anything, just make sure that you know what the terms are, and the terms are very clear. And you always go over the terms with whoever's buying or lending or whatever the situation is, and that you both know exactly what your terms are. Because sometimes people just sign quickly and say, oh, here's 12%. You don't know if it's a front end, back end, if you're getting monthly, distributions or whatever. But yeah, so that's what I've kind of learned in the past couple of weeks in the beach communities, is what to look for, what you want, what you don't want. And now a lot of these distressed properties that I've been looking at for 2 weeks, I kind of know. I've been doing deed searches. I've been on truepeople.com, not stalking people, It's got to be morally, ethically, and legal. But yeah, no, it's been, you have to do your research on these things as an investor, an
Absolutely.
agent for an investor.
And as an agent for an investor, let's give Kim Harvey a round of applause. She's working with investors, helping them out, get to their next level. I like that. That's a lot of great feedback. If there are no other questions, we may be jumping off the call, but I'll open it up to questions. Anything that is coming up for you or concerns about lending, this is your chance. And Brian Mazzilli mentioned in the chat that he's got a 5-unit for 100,000 on the border of Pennsylvania and New York. So yeah, pretty common. There are deals out there, but his problem is he can't get a property manager to manage it. So again, the hood, it's a little more work out there.
Struggle too. Is, I almost bought some property in Camden, but I couldn't get a property manager to manage it, and I'm like, I'm not going to go all the way to Camden all the time.
Yeah,
So.
That's the game that we're in right now. I was fortunate where I lived in a city that was like that. But now investing in Fall River is getting harder and harder. There's just not enough deals. You got to go into other difficult markets. So we'll call them high labor intensive markets.
Yeah, because you brought 100 people into that market through your meetup groups. So
it's true. You solve problems, right? So
yeah.
I looked at the city and I said, what's the biggest problem the city has right now? It's missing investors. So I brought investors from Boston, brought investors from all over, and now the city is doing significantly better. And time to move on to the next city. Maybe it is Chester.
Fall River is the new Newport.
Yeah, that's right, man. We got the water. Why not?
Yep.
Awesome. So great call. I appreciate each one of you being on here with us, providing some of your value, asking your questions, and sharing with the group. If you have any questions about lending, just hang out with us on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to continue going through Be the Bank, why it makes more sense to learn from the bank and not compete with the bank, and always be just a little bit different. We like to charge more than the bank, but we follow all the same rules, just a little bit more pay on our side. Cheers to your success. You have a choice. Oh.
Walter, what's the wealth principle tomorrow?
Wealth principle tomorrow is wealth principle 26. Study the people and businesses that are performing the way you want your business to perform so that you can perform better. Wealth principle 26 is a wealth principle all about studying other people and not competing with them, improving upon what they've already done. Learn from your competition so that one day you can either partner with them or maybe they just won't exist because you've wiped them off the planet, but not because you were competing. Because you were just adding more value. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice,
always work with the best.
That's right.
Later, guys.